Welcome to episode 658 of the Aussie Tech Heads, recorded on the 21st of November 2019. Aussie Tech Heads is brought to you by startnewcompany.com.au. Register your company fast, easy and direct with ASIC. All documentation provided and held in your account for downloading at any time. If you're an accountant or other professional, you're also able to brand all documents with your company name. Coming soon, ABN, TFN and trusts. Special discount codes for ATH listeners. At the cart, use ATH20 for a $20 discount. And athwebhosting.com.au. Servers operate on SSD drives, immediate activation, SSL certificates, Aussie support, domain registration, easy install of WordPress, Joomla and Drupal. Not Drupal. We are back again, Australia's two top podcasters. I'm your host, Jason Oakley. I'm joined this week, for some reason, by this guy. Nobody knows who he is. He's not important. Mr. Willie Tompkinson!
English is hard, apparently. Oh, dear.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
I am so smart. Yes, Marty.
I mean, it's in the RT. No?
No, got it right the first time.
How's stuff going up there besides trying to kill yourself?
It's been interesting this week. It's been bloody hot. And then we've had insane amount of smoke from the fires, and then we've also had dust storms come through, so it's just...
Did our smoke make it up to you? It's gone to South America now. They're importing our smoke.
Yeah, no, it's actually the worst today it's been in a while. And we got fires just down the road as well, so...
Yep.
It's been fun.
I've got the fan on very low over there, but when this is finished, the AC's going on for sure. Yeah,
well, the AC's... I actually cleaned the filters on the one in the lounge room last night.
Yep.
I had to actually put them through the dishwasher. They were that gummy. I washed them out, but they just didn't... The water just bounced off them.
God, that's too much.
I had to put them through the dishwasher. They were so gummy and sticky from the smoke that they just... Because I turned the aircon on, I'm like... It's not cold. What's going on? And yeah, sure enough, I checked the filters and I was fully blocked. I only cleaned them a week ago.
Jeez. When I first moved into this place, it had been a rental, and people don't care about rentals. So I checked the air conditioner filter and then spent half an hour scrubbing the crud out of it.
Yeah, well, I've got to clean the passageways and stuff. I can see they're all up behind it where it's all dirty, but I thought at least if I can get the filters clean, then that's a start.
Yep.
Because I've been watching, because I'm with PowerShop and I get daily usage, and I've been watching every day the costing just slowly go up. I'm like, why am I using more power every day? I'm not doing anything.
Nothing.
And yeah, the aircon, because it's been working harder and harder every day, so it's been using more and more power.
Well, at least one of you is working harder every day.
Yeah, I know, right? Everything's working hard in this heat, I tell you.
Oh, God, don't like it. And we got some good news about you getting an upgrade?
Yeah, well, I've been battling with a 5-year-old PC long enough. I'm done. So
You've rebuilt that about 100 times, I think.
Yeah, and the last water cooling failure's finally done it. It topped it off. So
yeah,
I bit the bullet and bought a new PC. So I thought I'd get one now that's good for another 5+ years that I don't have to worry about. And, it costs a bit more initially to buy it.
Yeah.
But once you've got it, you haven't got to worry about it, so...
That's what I thought last year when I got this one. The one before that was about 5 or 6 years old, and I was just like, it's not coping anymore. I mean, I don't play much 3D graphic games or anything like that. We played Minecraft for a while and stuff like that, and I've got my 3D headset that I used once 6 months ago. I don't play the VR stuff that much, but still needed an update, and so, yeah, happy about that.
Yeah, that's why I got... Like, this system, it's not stupid. Like, I was going to go the Threadripper CPU, but I ended up dropping it down and just went for the Ryzen 9 3500.
Now, tell me, my daughter's mum just got a new computer. How many RGBs does yours have? Because hers has got RGB out the wazoo.
A lot, and they're all going to be turned off.
Smart guy. She just loves it. The whole room lights up with twinkly, and the keyboard is twinkling, and the monitor, and the computer is taller than my desk in here, the case. and it's got like 3 fans on the front that spin around with colours on them.
That's
and at
the
back,
thermal take one. That's the one I'm getting.
yeah, it's clear, and you can
Called
see
a,
inside the case, and the RAMs have got RGBs and the motherboard
Yep.
and the graphics card. And
Yep, and it's all being turned off because it annoys the crap out of me. Plus, yeah, it's just pointless.
it's just
I don't
the
care.
base computer. You're not getting new mouse, keyboard, monitor.
Not at the moment. I only just recently got a new mouse, and my keyboard's still plodding along. And what am I on? 930, whatever it is, the webcam. It's still almost top of the range as far as webcams go.
Yeah.
So there's no point worrying about that.
When I got a new one just recently, it's like that's still number one after I bought my last one about 4 years ago.
That's it.
C9.
The only thing I've got to do, my monitors are fine. They're 24-inch monitors, and they're Samsungs, but they're older monitors, and none of them HDMI. So I've just got to get a HDMI to DVI converters, 4 of those, because the graphics card I got,
Don't crash your computer looking up something.
the Radeon FX 5700 XT,
Nice.
8 gig card. It's got 4 HDMI outputs.
Yep.
So I'm just going to convert those to DVI.
And you'll have a wall of screens again.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's nothing special. It's that. It's just a basic Asus Prime motherboard, 32 gig of RAM. Probably the only thing that I really splashed out on was I ended up getting 2
SSD.
They're the M2s, so they're not the SSD drive. They're not like these sort of SSDs. They look like a memory stick.
Oh, yeah.
And they go into the PCIe slots. And there'll be 2 of those in 2 512s of those in RAID 4, which will make them it'll be a 1 terabyte, splitting the data between the 2 drives. So it'll write half the data to one, half the data to the other. And each drive's a 5 gigabit a second bit write rate. So it'll
now this is going to be your problem. See, you turn the computer on, you don't have time to make a coffee anymore.
Oh no, you won't. Seriously, like they reckon the
you
boot
blink.
the post takes about 4 seconds, and Windows boot takes about 3. So, and then I've got
to get them to run it in too. Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing. I just haven't got time, so I got them to do it. They're doing the setup and install. They're doing a burn-in for 24 hours, and they're doing a benchmark on it as well, just to make sure it's all happy.
Yeah. The only thing I did on mine, I'd already bought the graphics card for my computer that I had, and it wouldn't work in there. So they did everything else, built it, installed Windows and stuff, and then just took out whatever graphics card they used for setup out. Send it up here. I put the graphics card in. I'm going to let them build it now because I think I told you all about the problem that I had with MSY when I bought all the parts and they gave me a faulty motherboard, and then I took it back and I said, "This is not working." They're going, "Well, if you can tell us what part is broken, we'll replace it for free. But if we have to look at one thing, we're going to charge you $40." And I'm like, "I bet it's the motherboard, but honestly, it could be the power supply or CPU." Well, pick one. I'm like, it's almost, it's less than 50-50. They're like, well, $40. Oh, where's the motherboard? First thing we tried, so give us some money. You're like, this is brand new stuff. You can't charge for that. It's illegal. Well, we did.
They've changed that now. It's on their website and everything now. They've changed all that stuff.
After they got smacked.
Yep.
They had a lot of interesting things on their website for a while, didn't they?
They did. They certainly did.
We have been very naughty boys, and we've been told to put on our website that we're very naughty boys.
That's it. So this the RX 5700 XT 8 gig card, the one card that I've got that I'm getting is more powerful than the 4 cards I had previously.
And you were Bitcoin mining and stuff on that.
Yeah. And then I've gone away from water cooling this time. I'm just going to a Coolmaster Hyper. They reckon that's perfectly fine. So, and then I'm putting a 2 terabyte storage drive in the system.
Yep.
Which will be like, so I'll be recording and everything to the SSDs, and then once I've encoded it, which by the way, it encodes 4K. It does an hour of 4K video in about 15 minutes.
Nice.
According to the benchmark. So, but once it's encoded, it'll go onto the storage drive, and I've also just bought a NAS with 2 4 terabyte in RAID 0, so they're mirrored, so that if one drive fails, the other one still has the same data on it.
So you'll be recording and producing the show from now on, and I get a break.
Well,
Hooray!
That's kind of the idea. But plus, as I said before, the other
can't do worse.
Well, no. But the other reason I said is, like, I spent the money on the system. I've got a good, solid, stable system that will easily handle what we're doing, and is not working the system hard to do it, so the system's not being stressed. Yeah. And if I find I need to go to 32 cores instead of 16, because the CPU I'm getting now is 16 core, I can go up to the Threadripper CPU on that motherboard without changing anything else, and everything else will still handle the throughput of the Threadripper. So in 12 months' time, I can put a Threadripper in it if I find I need more processing power. So
now, what I wanted to ask you is, do you store stuff locally and back it up? Do you use Dropbox or OneDrive or Google Docs, or do you just map a drive on your NAS and put all the interesting stuff on there?
So what I kind of do is I have the 2 terabyte drive in my system, and it backs up. So it backs up to the NAS, so that I've always got 2 local copies, and then I've got even though there's 4 terabyte in the NAS, I generally assume 2 terabytes is going to be just stuff, movies or whatever that I don't actually need. So in actual terms of important data, I'm just working with the 2 terabytes, and then I've got a 2 terabyte external drive that I back the NAS up once every couple of weeks or whatever. Yep. So I've got 3 physical, and I leave that external drive at work, and then bring it home every couple of weeks and back it up and take it back to work. Now that I've got a decent internet plan and decent speed, I may start backing the data up. The problem is when you've got 2 terabytes of data to back up online initially, that's a lot to put up there, So it's one of those things. Like, there's some stuff I keep on Google Drive, but for the bulk, the main stuff is like they're sitting on these hard drives beside me at the moment, because I was using my computer as the NAS, and then I realized that was a bad idea, because if my computer dies, it takes out the data with me. These are mirrored drives currently. So once I get my NAS, all that data is going to go back onto there. So I have 3 backups I have the original plus 3 backups, which really gives me one. They say 2 backups is only 1, so 3 is equivalent to 2. So really, I have the data plus 1 copy.
Now, will it be QNAP? Synology?
It is a Synology Play.
Nice.
2 bay Play.
I've got Synology.
So it's the quad-core 1.5 processor.
Mine's the very shitty, not very good processor.
Yeah, well, there's a /J and then there's a /Play. The /J is the twin core 1.2 or something, and then the /Play is the 4-core 1.5 with a different processor that apparently you can do more stuff with.
Yeah, mine can't transcode or anything. It's way too slow.
Mine can, but I don't know if it's something I'll ever be doing with it, to be honest, because I don't really have a reason to have that. So. Yeah. Honestly, I just got it because it was only $40 dearer than the J.
Right. In my time, it was $100 difference, so I wasn't going to go. But I do have my daughter's not old. I only bought it a year and a half ago or something. But sort of a medium computer, and the graphics card and that weren't that good in it, so I gave her my old computer. But I put Elementary OS Linux on there and Plex, so it Plex does the transcoding. It'll get the file from the NAS, transcode it, and then stream it through the network, so that works just as well.
Yeah, but yeah, so honestly, it is a lot of money, and I only did it because I had some people finally pay some bills that owed me money. So
it's always nice for them to do that.
I could afford to do it, but it's something that it's it's a lot of money up front, but in the long run, it's a lot cheaper, because it's if say one of my hard drives dies and I've got to get the data recovered because it's my only drive, I could be looking at $5,000 for somebody to recover data. So it's not that expensive when you look at it like that. You know, if your system costs say $2,000 and it lasts you 6 or 7 years with maybe 1 or 2 upgrades, it's cheaper than spending $1,000 a year trying to keep your computer running, which is what I was doing.
Yeah.
You know, so
and all the time rebuilding.
Yeah, you know, not knowing, not being able to trust it, not knowing if next time you're going to turn it on, it actually is going to turn on. You know.
Now, did you set the IRQs? Reserve them for the right devices.
Well, there you go. I'm back.
I think your problem is the config sys and your auto exec dot back.
Hang on. Let me take my sound card out, set it to IRQ 14. I'll put that, and I'll grab my video card, and that can be IRQ 7. So that COM port, I have to disable that. I don't need the parallel port. I'll disable that, so I've got a spare IQ, so I can take my network card and make.
Now, did you load EMM386.sys into HiMem?
The HiMem.sys?
Yeah.
Man, that's.
Oh, is that Sunny?
Nothing like playing with 640k RAM.
Kids these days don't know how easy they got it, do they?
I know, right?
When do I load the Sound Blaster driver? Is it before or after the graphics card driver? Did I do a terminate and stay resident?
I remember all that. And then you had to have your
there was no internet to look it up on kids.
And if you wanted your network card to work in something other than Windows, you had to have a paid software that would load up into DOS as a low-level load, so that you could use your network card, so you could run your games over the network in DOS. And
when you had a lap link cable that went from one end of the house up the other end, plugged in the serial port.
No, good old lap link. Yeah, or you to the XT link, which was the parallel version of that.
Yep.
Which was even slower. That was, I think, the lap link was good. You could get like 96k out of that. The parallel one, I think, was limited to 14k.
And then you could get on the internet with Trumpet WinSock.
Good old WinSock.
That was great. And what was that one? There was a program you could run that would let you share out your internet to multiple computers. It was
net
something like that. Yeah.
What was it? Yeah, NetWin, something like that. Yeah, you could. One computer could have dial up, and the other computers could log into you over the network and access your dial up. Yeah. So
those were the days, kids. This is welcome to Old Fart Geeks. I'm your host Jason, and this is my co-host.
Well, it's funny. I was talking to the guy when I bought my computer. I was talking about one of my first major purchases was my I think it was Quantum or Seagate, my Bigfoot 800 meg hard drive.
Bigfoot. It was big, wasn't it?
Put it in. It was a double 5.5 bay.
Yeah.
Drive, and it was 850 meg or something. You put it in there and hook your ID cable up and your power cable up and turn it on. All the lights in the house are dim, and then it slowly starts spinning up. And once you got up to speed, your case would start vibrating across the bench. They were cool.
Oh, nuts. Oh, well, I suppose we should do some stories. These people probably had enough of listening to us waffling about the good old days.
Yes. Now we're going to
just buy a computer pre-made, everything set up, you plug it in and off it goes.
Yeah. Yep.
Amazon is planning to announce a cloud gaming service next year, and it may offer integration with Twitch and its other services. It's begun recruiting people from large game companies like Microsoft to help with the launch, as well as hiring for jobs in a new initiative with its Amazon Web Services team, which sources said is involved in Amazon's future gaming service. We believe that evolution that began with the arcade communities a quarter at a time, growing to the live streams and esports of today, will continue to a future where everyone is a gamer and every gamer can create, compete, collaborate and connect. That's a lot of C's, isn't it? Very alliterative. With others at massive scales, one job posting this month showed. And at least one other job posting, the company said it wants to drive innovation, new use cases like machine vision and game streaming. Amazon said in yet another job posting that it plans to integrate its new initiative with Twitch and the company's other services. The information earlier reported on Amazon's plan, citing a possible launch next year. Industry insiders believe Amazon's plans for a future video game service are a foregone conclusion, despite struggles in its game-making studios, which saw layoffs earlier this year. Instead, these people cite the company's sprawling $119 per year Prime subscription empire, which already includes music streaming, lauded video projects like The Men in the High Castle, free grocery delivery, and more. You think you'll give Amazon Games a go?
Doesn't sound anything, like what, Steam's done or what.
Epic
There's
Games.
other company that did that. That did that just play from the browser games. Yeah,
Yep.
Look, I honestly don't think I've used Amazon at all, even to order anything. I think I just...
But you got Twitch and play games through Twitch, which is Amazon.
Well, I don't. The only thing I use Twitch for is streaming. I don't really do anything else.
Now modded Minecraft.
Well, not now.
They took it. Well, they took some of them off. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all back to the FTB now.
Everyone moved, did they?
As far as I know.
Isn't it the approved ones can stay and everybody else can go
basically
FTB themselves, basically?
I mean, I have the Twitch launcher, but honestly, other than Minecraft, I didn't have anything on there. I just used it for streaming some of the people I watch.
Yeah, same.
We
did some streaming for a while, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, like a stream on it, yeah, and I still do. Like I will be. Yep. With the changes to YouTube, which we'll talk about, basically Twitch is going to be your only option anyway.
Yep.
You're not going to have a choice. So
we've never really bothered with YouTube or Facebook streaming, have we? It's always Twitch.
No, it's always Twitch. It's even going to be more predominant now. Facebook, actually, you'll find will probably become quite relevant soon, I think.
Why don't you tell us all about this Twitch?
Look, this is huge. You've probably, if you watch YouTube and you subscribe to certain channels, most creators by now have put something up. If not, they will this weekend. This is going to affect literally every channel on YouTube, and it's really going to hurt pretty much anybody who uses YouTube to actually make revenue from. Not part-timers in terms of financial, it's not going to hurt so much, but full-time one, it's really going to hurt. So basically what happened a few months ago was the FTC, which is the Fair Trade Commission in America, fined YouTube $200 million. Now, YouTube's been breaching the COPA Act, which is the Children Online Privacy Protection Act, which was implemented. If it was implemented in like 2002 or something originally, but in 2012 it was changed to include sort of they. So the idea is with COPA is it's to keep kids' privacy online, and they say children under the age of 13, which is why if you're under 13 you can't have a Facebook account, can't have a YouTube account, that sort of thing, even though no people do. And this is the thing that it's supposed to stop collecting data for people who are under 13, so that their details are kept private as much as possible. But what ended up happening, of course, was parents were letting kids use the app, or that people just sign up because you could lie about your age. It's not hard to verify. So basically, they changed the laws in 2012, I think it was, 2013, something like that. The COPA laws to say that the service itself isn't necessarily held responsible if they try and do the right thing by saying, okay, this is targeted for children, this is not targeted for children. And it makes the content creator liable. So instead of having a way for... But they've always had the mark as mature content. So if you've got swearing or you've got adult content, you can mark the channel not safe for work effectively. But that's all it just meant that you then had to be signed in as a verified user to watch that channel. But that wasn't what they've done now, and this is the part that's going to destroy YouTube. Like, it is going to implode. What has happened is COPA has said, okay, YouTube is no longer responsible. It is now up to the individual creators of the content to be responsible for every video that they do. And they have to mark it in one of two ways. They either have to mark it as made for kids or not made for kids. So if you've got a YouTube account currently, go to YouTube account, go into your Creator Studio, and you'll see there's a thing there you now have to fill out and it says, is this channel made for kids? Is this channel not made for kids? Or the third option is let me mark every video individually. Which, if you've got 1,000 videos, that's not a problem. So here's the catch. Okay, that sounds fine. No worries. My channel's not made for kids. Not a problem. Problem is, their definitions are very, very vague. So to give you an idea, made for kids, the factors that they want you to consider. The subject matter of the video, okay? If children are in the intended audience, fair enough. If it includes child actors or models, fair enough. If it includes characters, celebrities, or toys that appeal to children. If it uses language that is meant for children to understand, okay. If it includes activities that appeal to children, or if it includes songs, stories, or poems that appeal to children. Now, when you go and look at those definitions, here's the problem. It includes characters, celebrities, or toys that appeal to children. So their definition of a character, if you dig further through, is a cartoon character.
South
Park, Ren and Stimpy, Tripping the Rift. I can name a lot more. They are not kid cartoons. But under the FTC, under the COPA guidelines, as is a cartoon, you must mark that made for kids. Now, here's the catch. If that is flagged as made for kids and the content gets reviewed and is found that it indeed is not made for kids because it has swearing or has other things in it that is not child friendly, you will be penalised $10,500.
Well,
okay, so the other option is you don't mark it made for kids, you mark it as made for adults. So, okay, then when the algorithm comes through and sees a cartoon, you'll be penalised $10,500.
Wow.
Now,
how about just don't do any YouTube video ever?
Well, this is the problem. See, not only have you got a fine of $10,500 sitting over your head. One of the guys I watch, Brian Hull, okay, he does impersonations, he does trips to Disney, he freaks out Disney characters with their own voices, that sort of stuff. Is awesome to watch. The problem is now he's had to mark his channel made for kids, which is fine because it's all family-friendly content and that's not a problem. Problem with marking it as paid for kids is that now he loses a lot of privileges. So, for example, he comments are disabled, the info cards on screen disabled, end screens are disabled, stories are disabled, community tabs disabled, the notification bell's disabled. Viewers can no longer favorite it or watch it later. You can no longer put it in a playlist. And the main thing, he's going to lose 90% of his ad revenue because when it's marked for kids, under the COPA agreement, you can no longer have personalized. So they've got two ads. They've got personalized ads and they've got generic ads. So the generic ads are ones, say, where you log in as not a user or something like that, and there's no personal information to collect. It's just a generic ad that plays. Your personalized or your targeted ads are the ones that use your data to see what you're interested in to play an ad that's relevant for you in the hopes that you're more likely to pursue that ad. 90% of his revenue comes from personalized ads.
Jeez.
He's now lost 90% of his revenue because he can't mark his channel not made for kids because it contains Disney characters. If he marks it not made for kids, he gets a $10,500 fine per video.
That's going to bite.
Because it is made for kids, he now has to give up full-time YouTube and he has to go back and actually do a real-world job, which means he's probably going to do one video a month now instead of 4 or 5 a week.
Oh.
Because he literally can't do it. It's not possible. He cannot make enough money through YouTube anymore to do this. So all your content creation is going to stop. Every gamer, say whether you watch Generic B or Vintage Beef or BOO or you name it, any gamer that you can think of who has streams and puts them onto YouTube or puts games onto YouTube, they have to now mark their channel as made for kids. Now, the problem is some people don't only have those videos on there. Some people have a mixture of both, like I did in my case. I had some Minecraft videos on there, and I had a couple of IDH episodes, and I have a heap of car-related stuff and mechanical stuff and how-to stuff. So I'm going to, by December 31st, when this comes into effect, I'm actually taking everything off YouTube. I'm taking all my videos down. I'm making sure I've got copies of them all, and I'm taking them all down and moving to another platform, which I'll talk about later. But I cannot. So I can't do it. My channel is both, and yes, I can mark each thing individually. But the thing is, a lot of my Minecraft videos might contain Minecraft, which is classified as something kids will watch, but the discussions in those are not safe for kids to listen to in some cases. So, by basically what's happened, by trying to protect kids' privacy online, which it's still not going to do, because at the end of the day, a kid's going to tell you their information. That's just all there is. And there is Facebook Kids for younger kids, YouTube Kids rather, for younger kids. That's an actual app you can put on devices. You can watch all approved videos that go onto there. But they don't play ads because they're kids' videos. And this is the problem. Like, one of the things my boy loves watching is Blippi. The guy who's done it, he's only been doing it a few years. He's worth millions of dollars because he's found the right combination that works. And his videos are about 20 minutes long. They've got an ad at the start, and an ad at the end, and the rest of the thing, he doesn't have ads in there. He does at one point talk about the merchandise he has for sale, but that's it. He doesn't carry on about it. The thing is now, for him to make any sort of money at all, his entire channel is going to be just kid-friendly. So his entire living, which he does full-time for YouTube, is going to cease to exist because he's literally not going to make any money from YouTube now.
Killing people's jobs and lifestyle.
And not only that, videos that are on YouTube are going to get taken down because people can't afford for them to get their decision wrong.
Yeah.
And what's really making it worse is YouTube has released an algorithm that's trawling everybody's videos and telling you what is and what isn't safe. The problem is the algorithm, like every other YouTube algorithm, gets it wrong. So even the algorithm that YouTube's set up to determine what you're going to be able to do can't be trusted. So you still have to go through your videos and tell what you can and can't do.
And you've already said that YouTube are not going to be liable. So if the algorithm gets it wrong, you get fined $10,000. That's your problem.
Right. Yep. The FTC has already said YouTube is helping you, but don't rely on that to be correct. And by the way, this is $42,000 per video US.
Jeez.
And okay, yes, the FTC and COPA are both American corporations. However, by using YouTube, you are agreeing to their terms and you are serving videos in the US. Like the videos you post are being shown in the US. Therefore, you are liable under US law to abide by their guidelines.
Can you do a geography thing and mark not viewable in the US?
Not
which
on
would
YouTube.
Kill half your audience.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, and I don't think you can do that on YouTube anyway. I've never seen that setting. But I mean, even if you could, why would you? Because you look, for the most part, and this is not my channel's an exception because a lot of my stuff is automotive.
For TV shows, this show is not viewed in your geographic location.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
Do it.
I've never seen it on my channel though. I don't know if it's something you've got to apply for or whatever. But like in my case, most of my views come from Australia because most of my content is Australian based. So, but as a rule, you look at most big YouTubers, like people who actually can make a living off YouTube, and the US is, 85+% of their viewing audience.
Yep.
So you can't really do that. But having said that, even if you could, you're still hosting it on US servers, so you still got to appeal to their rules.
Damned if you do, and damned if you don't.
So basically, the problem is that, look, it's just I've seen one of the guys I watch. He's basically pulled down all but a handful of his videos, and he streams on Twitch now. See, because Twitch have it right. Like, you have to verify your account in a couple of different ways, but also you can specifically mark the stream as you're doing it what it's intended for. So basically, look, at the end of the day, if you've got videos on YouTube and you don't know, and the advice that everyone's given, look, there's a guy you can go and watch. There's a couple of them. Ian Corzine's one of them. J House Law is another one. They're actual lawyers. They've gone through this. They've been inside and out, and even they are saying consult a lawyer about, like, specifically about each video on your channel to make sure you get it right, because the guidelines are so vague and so easy to get wrong. If you've consulted a lawyer and a lawyer said, look, this is this and this is this, and you've got proof of that, and then they go, hey, you're doing this, they go, well, look, my lawyer told me I could, they're probably going to leave you alone.
Everybody move to Pornhub. They'll let you post anything.
Yeah.
Well, they do a lot of stuff now that won't go on YouTube, or stuff goes, even if it's not porn stuff, goes on Pornhub because they're great hosting.
Well, yeah. Plus, it's technically an adults-only site, so there shouldn't be kids on there. Twitch is a lot like that now as well.
Pornhub.
Hey.
Twitch is like Pornhub, you're saying?
Sort of, yeah. But Twitch is, it's gone a long way into allowing a lot more freedom of what you post. Yep. Myself, I'm probably going to move. I love Minds.com. I think or Minds.org. No, Minds.com. I think their platform is amazing. It's basically Facebook, but it uses peer-to-peer instead of centralized servers. So there is there's no censorship. There's no dictation on what you can and can't do. There's no data theft, effectively, because you don't have your data stored in one place. The problem they've got at the moment, and they're working on it, but bandwidth is expensive in that sort of huge scale. They've only got 15-minute videos, unfortunately.
Wow.
So for now, I'm probably going to move to something called DTube, D.tube, because .tube is one of the new extensions you can have. So somebody's done a D.tube. It's very YouTube-esque in the way it looks. You sign up for it. Now, the difference is with this compared to traditional sort of video hosting sites that have relied on ads, which is what this all comes down to, is not serving ads to kids under 13, is effectively what this whole COPA thing comes to. So these guys don't run ads. What they do is they are powered by crypto, basically. So DTube is the first crypto decentralized video platform built on top of the Steam-backed blockchain and the IPFS peer-to-peer network. So you've got two things. You're resistant to censorship because it is a peer-to-peer. There's no centralized server, so basically... users can still censor if users feel that you're not, because there's different categories and different things. So users can say, well, hey, this doesn't fit in this category, but effectively, there's no DMCA takedown notice. There's no copyright violations. There's no, nothing like that. There's no political censorship. It's open because it is decentralized. It's ad free because they're using crypto to pay for it. So when you do things, and mine's is similar as well, when you do things, you earn cryptocurrency, which you can spend by supporting other people, or you can share somebody else's video, which costs you a little bit, or you can boost it. So it's a give and take thing. You upload a video, you receive some, you boost somebody else's video, you use some. So it works on throwing around cryptocurrency. But yeah, so it's ad free. It doesn't have hidden algorithms to choose whose content gets monetized more than others, and it's all public. It's all running the same. Everybody's on a level playing field. I mean, obviously, if you make a better video, people are going to upvote it, and then it's going to show up in
That's the whole point,
trending,
right?
or it's going to show up in trending or whatever. But it's not done by an algorithm. It's done by people.
And you don't pay $50,000 to have yours at the top.
Yeah, ads don't. The ad provider doesn't go, "Hey, I only want Mattel toys in my ads." So stuff like that. So look, that's probably the place I'm going to move all my stuff across to. You need a Steam It wallet, which is just another crypto, just another wallet. Not hard to get, but it just helps with the thing. But the other thing I'll say about this too, look, some places is clear cut in terms of what you should mark your channel. But the other problem is there's another guy I watch, and he does classic hobby vehicles. So old school trains, old school radio control cars, old school pedal cars, the old fashioned stuff that kids aren't interested in. It's purely adult based. He's an adult audience. Like, you look at his statistics and most people are 35 or over who watch his channel, because kids aren't interested in somebody standing there presenting information on a 30-year-old thing. But because he has toys on his channel, he has to mark his entire channel made for kids.
God.
He doesn't have a choice. He has to do that.
Yep.
Which means he's now got to stop doing YouTube and find another way to make money, because his YouTube was how he made money. Yep. Some of the bigger creators have got Patreons who, in some cases, may be fine to keep them afloat. Like I know Generic B, for example, he had no problems switching to Twitch full time. Between the Twitch subs and his Patreons, he managed to make a living full time out of not being on YouTube. So it can be done in some situations. But you've got to have, and other people have merchandise and stuff like that, which may or may not work for them. And in other cases, it's clear cut. Some people simply do not make videos that are suitable for kids, and they're not going to have any trouble at all. Every single one of their videos is going to be for adult, and most of them are marked as adults only, mature audience videos. So they're going to have no trouble at all they're going to be the least affected. People who make videos specifically with swearing, with violence, with graphic stuff, with whatever, they're the ones who actually aren't going to have any trouble, because their videos were never targeted at kids in the first place, or never susceptible to a kid watching it in the first place.
Now, what about stuff like people playing COD and stuff, which is a game, so they might count it as for kids, and kids watch it, but they're going to be throwing their heads off when they get shot and killing people and stuff.
And this is the dilemma, because then they'll get in trouble because it's not a kid-friendly video, even though it's been marked for kids, because they didn't have a choice, because it was a game.
Things are not clear cut as that.
So there is no. You read the guidelines. The guidelines are as foggy as all get out, and yet the FCS copers come out and said, "Oh no, they're simple, they're straightforward, easy to understand."
Well, it's okay if you're not getting sued for $10,000 per video.
Yeah, and the creators are like, well, hang on, get out of your office and come and do my job for a couple of weeks. Then you tell me if your standards are clear cut or not.
Yeah. Take a look at my videos and tell me which one should I pick, A, B.
Like, there's one channel I watch, and they've got 10 creators in the one channel. They all just share a channel because it was easier.
Yep. And
they all do different content. They all create entirely different content. A couple of them create song parodies. A couple of them create, do like tour reviews and stuff like that. A couple of them do art. A couple of them do on the street interview. So they all do different content. So, and they've got something like 50,000 videos. So the only way they can get away with it is either delete their entire back catalogue, which is still earning them money, or go through every single video and tag it depending on its situation.
And cross your fingers.
And then hope you didn't get one wrong.
How much is one of these lawyers, please? They should be fairly cheap, right?
Well, this is the thing. In the States, apparently, they're a dime a dozen, because every video you watch, they're like, just consult your lawyer and he'll tell you what you can do. Well, is everybody in the States lawyered up? Yeah,
my lawyer, Jeff, just lives next door. It's quite handy.
So it must be really cheap, but look, honestly, this is the death knell for YouTube. YouTube has been struggling for a while, especially with ads and takedown notices and demonetize. They demonetized so many channels like a year ago. Like It was just ridiculous. I got demonetized just because I didn't meet their subscriber count. I met their viewer limit. Like, I had enough views per month, but I didn't have enough subscribers. And I didn't have enough subscribers because I never asked people to subscribe. Because
smash that button.
Yeah. So up until a week before, they said, "Oh, by the way, if you don't have this many subscribers, we're going to close your account or demonetize you." You know, and I had like 12 subscribers, and I needed like 1,500 or something to be monetized.
Jeez.
And I'm like, hang on, what? So basically, YouTube's been screwing over their creators for at least, well, obviously for at least 18 months. They've been sneakily doing it before that. But honestly, look, they're done. There's no way they can recover from this. Creators aren't going to handle this. They're just going to close channels left, right. Like, a lot of people I watch, like, there's probably, I think I'm only subscribed. I'm not subscribed to that many people. I honestly think I'm only subscribed to, I don't know, 25, 30 channels.
Yeah.
At least half of them have said they're closing their channel. And
here's the other problem. If this happens now and they have to take their videos off and then switch to another platform, and then YouTube goes, "Oh crap, well, yeah, we're not going to do that anymore," you're going to be like, do you know how much effort I put into starting up a new thing in a new place and getting everything sorted over there?
I ain't going back.
I ain't coming back.
No. And that's the other problem. If you don't have a hard copy of videos, which most people who do this for a living have all their videos backed up.
Yep.
And I have probably 90% of mine. I've just got to go through and check some of the more critical ones. Some I don't care about.
As soon as I start up my 4K downloader and connect to all my YouTube videos and download them all.
Well, I was going to say, if you do it the official way, you can only download one video at a time. Like through YouTube itself, you can literally only go in. But you can download multiple. Yeah, that's right. You can download multiple videos simultaneously, but you can only click one at a time to download.
Son. Not in Australia.
But what I'm saying is they don't give you a batch download. So you can physically download multiple videos, but you have to click on download on each individual video.
Yeah.
Now you can do it through 4K download and stuff like that, where it'll do a batch download, but by default YouTube don't give you that option. And I mean, most content creators have most of their videos. I've got most of mine. There's only a couple I want to double check. All my Minecraft stuff, I don't care. I know I've got them anyway, but it doesn't worry me if I didn't. Like, that's crap. It's only some of the talkback text and some of the stuff like that I've done on there that I want to make sure I've got copies of.
Yep.
But like I'm that's it. I'm pulling all the videos off my channel. I know so many people are doing the same thing. That's gonna be so. And here's the other thing too that I need to mention. It doesn't matter if your channel is not monetized because YouTube still plays ads on your channel. So the fact that potentially the wrong ad could be played on your channel is this whole thing. So even if you're not directly monetized, you still need to go through this process, because if YouTube plays the wrong video on the wrong ad on the wrong video, you get in trouble for it. So not being monetized doesn't solve the problem, because originally everyone's like, "Oh, we'll just demonetize and be done with it." YouTube's like, "No, we still play ads on your videos, so you're still liable for the ads we play on your videos."
That's ridiculous.
So this is incredibly serious. I can't stress this enough. Like, I don't care what you think of me or my rants or whatever, but if you have videos on YouTube, you need to take care of this.
Yep.
It's absolutely important that you solve this problem, whether you delete your videos, whether you go through and mark them, however you do it, it has to be done. If you do not do this, you will be in a world of hurt. They have guaranteed fines for people. That's not something that they may do. And there is no appeal process. The only appeal process from the FTC and from COPA, which are American government-owned organizations, is through the courts. And good luck with that. The chance of you winning a court case against an American government in an American court.
Good luck. Got money for that? No, I don't.
Not after you've just paid $10,500 US per video.
Well, that also reminds me, I did there's a thing, the thing these kids are into these days called Nightcore videos, and you basically get a song speeded up and then put different video to it. I did Lily Allen's FU, which is not censored and has just images from cartoons and anime on there, which people would think is targeted towards kids.
That's right.
But the whole song is singing F you. So therefore, it's got to go.
Yep. Yep.
Animes are only for kids. Cartoons are only for kids.
Yeah. And so are toys, you know.
Deadpool.
And, you know, and like,
Joker.
but even the thing is, they haven't specified, and this is the problem, they haven't specified what they class as a child's interest. Because when Cameron gets on YouTube, he watches my how-to videos on milling, on lathing, on steelworking, on welding, on, you know, monster trucks. Like, he watches those.
Yep.
So does that mean all of those videos are now incorrectly flagged? So this is the problem. Like, they just haven't given the guidelines required. Now there is if you go to, the only channel I can think of off the top of my head is go to Brian Hull on YouTube. I mean, check him out while you're there. He's got some great videos. But if you go to his last one where he's talking about the Copa stuff, he actually has a link to, there's a appeal or they're kind of doing asking the community for guidance sort of deal on the FTC website. So you can actually go there. You can actually fill out the form and offer constructive criticism on the issues and how you think they can be overcome. If they get enough submissions, this may be overturned. The COPA has already said it won't be, but it may modify some of the rules a little bit, hopefully. The FTC still has ultimate power over COPA, and they could force them to change some of the rulings. At this stage, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. A bit of wishful thinking. That is the only thing that may save this. But it's almost not going to happen. But it's.
Don't
I mean,
risk it, folks.
we've become so reliant on Google, and look, say, you know, love, hate, whatever with Google, almost everybody I know watches YouTube. Yeah. Regardless of whether or not they use Google search, whether they use Gmail, whether they use Android device, whatever. Everyone uses YouTube. That's the go-to place, whether it's people bagging about how bad YouTube is and whether you shouldn't use it. They still have a YouTube video on that whole subject, you know, so it's one of those things, and it's so prolific that people, I don't think people quite comprehend what this could potentially do.
Yeah.
You try and find that resource pool anywhere else on the internet. I mean, the internet itself is one huge resource pool, but YouTube is so much of that data.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always using it for how-to stuff and looking stuff up. I could read a manual, or I could go to YouTube and watch a 1-minute video and get exactly the same information. You know, like, it's one of those deals. So
it's like only number 2 to Netflix in broadband usage.
Yeah, and that's only because everything in Netflix is HD.
Yeah.
If the 15-year-old videos on YouTube were HD, you can imagine what their bandwidth would be.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, look, just I can't stress how important it is you sort this out. It's very, very critical. You've got until December 31st, January 1st, and new changes take effect. So
crazy. I don't know if I can top that rant.
Sorry, I didn't intend it to be a rant.
So that's the end of the show. It was nice. Mine's all going to be boring news. Oh well. Talking about alternate platforms, though, we should mention that Wikipedia has now launched WT social platform to take on Facebook with no fake news, and everything's going to be 100% curated.
Like Wikipedia.
I signed up to it, but I don't really want to pay $100 US a year.
No.
I don't think I would be into that much. But if you're like the editorial type or the newsy type, or you want to be the next Huffington Post or something, then you might find something interesting there. Other news, doctors have placed humans in suspended animation for the first time as part of a trial in the US that aims to make it possible to fix traumatic injuries that would otherwise cause death. Samuel Tischerman at the University of Maryland School of Medicine told New Scientist that his team of medics had placed at least one patient in suspended animation, calling it a little surreal when they first did it. He wouldn't reveal how many people have survived as a result. The technique, officially called Emergency Preservation and Resuscitation, or EPR, is being carried out on people who arrive at the University of Maryland Medical Center in Baltimore with an acute trauma, such as gunshot or stab wound, and have had a cardiac arrest. Their heart will have stopped beating and they'll have lost more than half their blood. There are only minutes left to operate, with less than 5% chance that they would normally survive. EPR involves rapidly cooling a person to around 10 to 15 degrees Celsius by replacing all of their blood with ice-cold saline. The patient's brain activity almost completely stops. They are then disconnected from the cooling system, and their body, which would otherwise be classified as dead, is moved to the operating theatre. The surgical team now has 2 hours to fix the person's injury before they are warmed up and their heart restarted. Tischerman says he hopes to be able to announce the first results of the trial by the end of 2020.
But isn't Walt Disney in cryo?
Everyone says so.
If you've ever watched Cryptonomicon. Listen to Cryptonomicon. Yeah,
I read it.
They talk about they got the bracelets with all the information on how to preserve their bodies, and it tells you what they need to do.
Yeah.
So Cryptonomicon. If you
brilliant
want to get into Neil Stevens, that's Neil Stevens, yeah.
Stevenson, isn't it?
Stevenson, sorry, yeah. If you want to get into his stuff, there's Cryptonomicon, there's Snow Crash, there's a few of them, but that's probably one of the better. There's Diamond Age. They're all 90% factual, which is the really trippy part about them. You can almost believe everything in the book.
Was Snow Crash the one on the train?
No, Snow Crash was the one about the real world and the virtual world, and then they had it's quite hard to explain, but yeah, they had a virus in the virtual world that could come through into the real world via the goggles.
Oh, right, yeah.
So it's kind of like, yeah, it's pretty intense actually. So speaking of internet, Telstra, a goodwill gesture. That sounds about right. A goodwill gesture by Telstra that upgraded 770,000 NBN customers to the higher speed plans for free backfired when the majority of their lines couldn't support the speed increase.
Womp womp.
They actually need to lower most of the speeds because the internet has now become unreliable for a lot of customers and they're complaining about it. So,
yep. You know how you had slow speed? We fixed that. It doesn't work at all. You don't have the slow speed. You don't have any speed.
I mean, you've got this fantastic fast speed when you're connected.
Yeah. For that 2 seconds.
So, yeah.
Just enough time to run speedtest.net and get Telstra back to the top of Australia's.
Pretty much.
Oh, speaking of that kind of... Oh, you're going more...
No, you're right. You're right.
In the UK, Labour has promised to give every home and business in the UK free full fibre broadband by 2030 if it wins the general election. The party would nationalise part of British Telecom to deliver the policy and introduce a tax on tech giants to help pay for it. Shadow Chancellor John McDonnell told the BBC the visionary £20 billion plan would ensure broadband reaches the whole of the country, just like Australia's does, right? No. But Prime Minister Boris Johnson said it was a bit of a crackpot scheme. The plan includes nationalising parts of BT, namely its digital network arm Openreach, to create a UK-wide network owned by the government. Mr McDonald said the rollout would begin with communities that have the worst broadband access, followed by towns and smaller centres, and then areas that are currently well served. A new entity, British Broadband. That does sound very British-like, doesn't it? British Broadband would run the network with maintenance estimated to cost $230 million a year to be covered by the new tax on companies such as Apple and Google. Problem solved. There we go.
Because that works so well with their TVs.
and tax, right?
Hmm.
We think they should pay their way, and other countries are following suit, said Mr. McDonnell. Labor has not yet completed the final details of how the internet giant tax would work, saying it would be based percentage-wise on global profits and UK sales, raising potentially as much as £6 billion. Mr. McDonnell said that if other broadband providers did not want to give access to British broadband, then they would they would also be taken into public ownership. There you go.
So
do it or you'll be owned.
So basically, it was like what they did in the 50s and go, here, everybody have a TV. And then next year they went, hey, guess what? We're just going to take the money now so that you can watch TV.
Yeah. They've had pay-per-view forever, right? They were the first ones.
They literally have.
You see all those stories about grandma who never bought a television but still getting billed and fined by the government for a tax for a TV license. She's like, I don't have one. Well, everybody has to pay, but I've never had a TV. I don't care. Yep.
In Australia, they used to have vans that would drive around with aerials that could detect houses that had TVs in them, and they'd look up your address, and if you weren't paying the thing, they'd come and knock on your door.
Yep.
But I mean, see, we used to have them here too, but they still have them in the UK. You walk into your lounge room and you put a quarter in the meter, and you have lights for an hour.
Yeah.
Like that's. Or you'd want to cook something on the stove, so you'd put a dime in the stove and you'd cook for 25 minutes with the gas. And that's still a thing. That's still huge in the UK. A lot of the cheaper housing areas still have that.
Yeah.
I had a friend who went over there, and he's sitting on the toilet, and all his power went out. And he's like, what was that? Have we got a blackout or something? And he's like, he didn't know, because like the landlord had showed him in, and he must have put the first money in the meter thing, and not told him about it. And he's like,
that's a bit of a rude shock, isn't it?
How come I'm the only one who doesn't have power? And he's like ringing people, and they're like, have you put money in the meter? He's like, what are you talking about?
Money? Meter? What?
Yeah, sure enough, put money in the meter.
Sorry,
you got power
governor,
back.
you got to pay for your lights, don't you? Isn't it? Hey? That's what it is.
I'm just trying to find. I read an article earlier, and I just, for the life of me, cannot. I know you've got one on PayPal,
do you want me to do that one?
You can do that one while I'm trying to find this other one.
PayPal announced it has agreed to acquire Honey Science Corporation, the makers of a deal-finding browser add-on and mobile application, for $4 billion, mostly cash. The acquisition, which is PayPal's largest to date, will give the payments giant a foothold earlier in the customer's shopping journey. Instead of only competing on the checkout page against credit cards or Apple Pay, for example, PayPal will leap ahead to become part of the deal discovery process as well. Currently, Honey's 17 million monthly active users take advantage of its suite of money-saving tools to track prices, get alerts, make lists and browse offers, and participate in Ebates-like rewards program called Honey Gold. Its users tend to be younger millennial shoppers. Hey, I must be a millennial then now.
Or younger, one of the two.
Younger. I was a Gen X. Both male and female. PayPal aims to add Honey's technology to its own product line, expanding its reach to PayPal's 300 million users. In addition, PayPal's network of 24 million merchant partners will gain the ability to offer targeted and much more personalised promotions to customers. Are they going to pass copper with that?
Probably not. But that's only an American thing, so.
Well, PayPal... Where is PayPal now? It was eBay for a while.
They used to be Swiss at one point. I don't know what they are now.
In addition, the 12 million merchant partners will gain the ability to offer target and more personalised promotions to customers as a means of acquiring new business and driving increased sales. PayPal Credit may also be integrated into Honey to help finance larger purchases. As a result of the acquisition, Honey co-founders George Ruin and Ryan Hudson will join PayPal, where they'll work on product integrations and scaling the technology to a much larger user base. Also joining is Honey's predominantly LA-based team of 350 employees. The Honey team and headquarters will remain in LA, where they've just signed a lease on a new office space with expansion goals in mind. I signed up. I read about it a long time ago, and then my daughter started showing me all these Mr. Beast videos, and of course he's
bloody Mr. Beast.
Sponsored by Honey, so he's like, all you need to do is get Honey and type in Mr. Beast as your referral, and
the funny thing about it, he's sponsored by Honey. He's also sponsored by PayPal.
Yeah.
So he's sorted.
There's some good videos on there.
Like, have you seen some? Yeah, like somebody's streaming on Twitch, and he's like, if they blink 3 times in 15 seconds, I'll give them $5,000.
Blink, 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 blink.
He doesn't tell them. He just waits for them to do it, and if they do it, he just gives them, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know whether to love him or hate him, that guy, I tell you.
He does some good stuff.
I know he's in a lot of trouble at the moment over tax because of where he is and where they film a lot of videos are in 2 different places. But where he is, money given as a gift is a tax exempt for the person who receives it. But a lot of the people he gives money to are in states where they've got to declare it.
Oh.
So there's times where he's given people $1 million or $500,000 or whatever. They've been in places where they've had to declare that, but nobody's sort of known, and he hasn't. And so, there's a massive tax storm going on at the moment.
Government's got to get their mitts and everything.
That's it. I cannot find the story, even though I was reading it before. But basically, the gist of it is that there's a uni student who's going to one of the unis in the States. He was in their computer classes. They were writing software for Linux, and so he was developing his own version of Linux and all the software to go with it for ISIS, for secure communication and secure transmission between the ISIS headquarters. Which would have been fine, except he was doing it on the uni system, which gets audited like every 3 months.
And they found out.
And they found it. Even though like the software itself would have gone unnoticed because it was actually quite well secured. But because they audit the servers and they're like, hang on, why is everybody else's end of year plan only, this big and yours is 14 times larger?
Whoops.
So, I thought that was quite funny.
Probably if you search for that, then the FBI will come after you anyway. So
that's kind of why I'm not really searching for it. I'm just scrolling.
You have to tour that one, I'm afraid.
Make Linux distribution for ISIS.
That's been generated by the Google auto text generator now for this YouTube video.
Yep. I'd love to see the subtitles for this video.
I have nothing to do with this show whatsoever. I wasn't even here. Who's that? No, it's some other guy.
It's one of those live stream.
My name is Brayson Brokley.
It's one of those live stream video overlay, face recognition things.
This is a deep fake. Some guy called Jason, they're using his face. Hello, my name is Mr. Burns. I believe you have a letter for me. What's your first name, Mr. Burns? I don't know. So thanks for listening to the Aussie Tech Heads Crazy Show. Podcast weekly if you're lucky. We can be found at facebook.com/Aussie Tech Heads, twitter.com/Aussie Tech Heads, and youtube.com/Aussie Tech Heads. Email us Glenn, Will and Warlock at aussietechheads.com.au. You can hear Aussie Tech Heads on aussietechradio.com. 24/7 back-to-back play of some of the best tech-related shows from around Australia and New Zealand. Even better ones than this will be shown added every Friday. And we'll take care, everyone. We'll probably be back in a fortnight. See you then.
Bye.